Today, we are diving headfirst into the wild, fast-moving world of artificial intelligence in journalism. So is AI a revolutionary new tool for reporters, or is it a major threat to the very idea of truth? Let's figure it out.
Now, if you think AI is all about sci-fi robots and futuristic computers, I've got news for you. The truth is, AI is already here, and it's quietly shaping your world every single day. Seriously, this isn't some far-off concept. It's a technology you're already interacting with constantly.
Just think about it for a second. That moment when Netflix just knows what you want to binge watch next? Yep, that's AI. When you ask Siri or Alexa about the weather, AI again. And what about when your phone's autocorrect saves you from a super embarrassing typo? You guessed it, it's a tool, plain and simple, made by people, for people.
So what exactly are we talking about here? Well, the official definition is a little dry, but basically, an AI system is a machine that takes in some information and then produces something new. It could be a recommendation, an article, a weather forecast. It's a system built to do stuff that usually needs a human brain.
Okay, so if this tech is smart enough to pick our next TV show, that's one thing. But how is it being used in a field that's, well, a lot more critical, like journalism? How is it actually shaping the news we all count on to make sense of the world?
All right, here's our game plan. We've kind of covered what AI is. Next, we'll look at how it's becoming an amazing co-pilot for journalists. Then, we're going to explore the dark side, when good AI goes bad. After that, we'll talk about earning trust in this new world, and we'll wrap up with why the human element is more important than ever.
So let's kick things off with the good stuff. For a whole lot of reporters out there, AI is turning into an incredibly powerful partner, totally changing how they do their jobs for the better.
Okay, just imagine one of the most boring, mind-numbing tasks a journalist has to do, transcription. Trying to type out a 1-hour interview can literally take hours. It's a nightmare. But now, AI can spit out a full, searchable transcript in just a few minutes. That is a total game changer, because it frees up reporters to, actually focus on writing the story.
And believe me, it goes way beyond just transcription. AI is basically giving journalists a whole new set of superpowers. First, you've got efficiency. Automating the boring stuff is just the start. Second, you get deep data analysis. You can point an AI at a mountain of data, like thousands of financial records, and it can spot patterns a human would never ever see. And third, it opens up entirely new ways to investigate, like using AI to scan satellite photos to track deforestation.
And this isn't just some theory, folks. This is happening right now in real newsrooms. The Brainerd Dispatch in Minnesota uses AI to write up the first draft of public safety reports. In Puerto Rico, El Vocero uses it to instantly translate weather alerts into Spanish. And a TV station in Texas, KSATV, uses AI to create initial article drafts from video summaries. This stuff is becoming standard. But, and you knew there was a but, for every awesome success story, there's a pretty scary cautionary tale. So now let's flip the coin and look at the huge and frankly startling risks of an automated newsroom. And nothing captures the danger like this story. A German magazine ran a huge cover story. It was a world exclusive, the very first interview with Formula One legend Michael Schumacher since his terrible accident. The world was captivated. But here's the thing. The interview? It wasn't real. It was completely made up by an AI chatbot. A total lie, published as fact.
The fancy tech term for what happened there is an AI hallucination. It's basically when the AI just makes things up. It doesn't just get a fact wrong, it confidently invents, quotes, people, entire events out of thin air. And that's the scary part. It's designed to sound plausible, not necessarily to be truthful.
And that Schumacher story? It's not a one-off, not even close. The tech site CNET had to issue major corrections on more than half of its first batch of AI-written stories. Sports Illustrated got caught publishing articles by totally fake AI-generated writers. And in one truly terrifying case, an AI-generated article about a local murder was so wrong, the police had to issue a statement saying it was entirely fabricated.
So what's the real fallout here? Well, every single one of these screw-ups chips away at our trust in the news. We're already living in a world overflowing with misinformation, and when news outlets get it this wrong, it just makes it that much harder for all of us to know who and what we can actually believe.
So this brings us to the million-dollar question. How can newsrooms use this incredible technology without completely destroying their own credibility? Well, it all comes down to being responsible.
So what do people actually think is okay?
Well, research is pretty clear on this. The public is generally fine with AI doing behind-the-scenes work. Grammar checks, transcriptions, that's the green zone. Things get a little dicey, into the yellow, when AI helps with headlines or summaries, but only if a human has the final say. But where's the hard no? Writing stories completely without human review, or worse, AI news anchors. That's a big red flag for most people.
So based on that, a few key rules are starting to emerge, and they are absolutely non-negotiable. Rule 1, human oversight. A real person has to have the final say, period. Rule 2, be transparent. Tell your audience when you're using AI. Rule 3, accountability. The newsroom is always responsible, AI or not. And finally, the big one, accuracy. Every single thing an AI spits out has to be fact-checked by a human.
And all of this brings us to our final, and maybe the most important point of all. This whole conversation isn't about replacing journalists, it's about augmenting them.
And this quote just nails it. Look, an AI can transcribe an interview, but it can't build the trust and rapport with a source to get that bombshell quote. An AI can find patterns in data, but it can't understand the real-world impact or make the ethical call on whether something should be published. Those core skills, they are and will always be uniquely human.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. As AI gets better and better at creating stuff that looks totally real, maybe the most valuable human skill of all, for journalists and for us as readers, is simply the critical thinking to tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. In the end, the search for truth has never been a more human mission.